Hey everyone, welcome back to the I Believe podcast. I'm Megan, and today we're joined by Dr. Kristie Nguyen. Hi, Dr. Nguyen.
Nice to be here.
So I'm very excited because it's finally summer and the sun has finally come out. The clouds are going away. I think it's been a very long winter. I don't know. How about for you? You're in Florida, right?
I'm in Florida. We have summer pretty much all year long.
I am jealous. I'm in Northern Virginia and we had a cold, gloomy winter. So I'm very excited the sun is finally here. But that brings a whole host of other issues. So we're going to talk all about sun safety and sunglasses and eyewear and get into some summer protection tips. So it's June now. It's almost the official start of summer. So let's talk about Healthy Vision Month, June. So as we head into summer, what should people be thinking about protecting their eyes?
Well, not only is sunglasses recommended, but the type of sunglasses you wear is also important. What a lot of people don't realize is just a tinted pair of lenses does not mean that there's UV protection in them. So make sure when you purchase your glasses that there is UVA and UVB protection on those lenses. Transitions are good, which is a clear coating that transition to a tint when you go outside. There's polarized sunglasses for different activities like boating, golfing, sports, things like that. And also, if you're out there for a long period of time, we also recommend wearing a hat to have better coverage, especially if you have a smaller sunglasses size.
So polarized, that doesn't have anything to do with sun protection, or does it? Or is that just how you see?
Well, it's a little bit of both. Polarized
Okay.
sunglasses do have UV protection in them, but it also cuts glare at different angles in the day. So as the sun starts to move throughout the day, there's certain angles where it may not cut out the sun as much to give you differentiation in the clarity of what you're seeing.
Oh, that's so interesting. Because I know when you put on polarized ones, it seems like the colors are brighter and more vivid, but I didn't realize there was actually a health benefit to them. I thought it was just, it made things prettier. So that's really cool.
Yeah, so I mean, besides polarized, even the different type of tint that you put on your glasses have different functions as well. But again, polarized just cut more of the glare from your environment, so that's why it's really good for certain outdoor activities to have the polarized.
Awesome. That's really, really interesting. Do you find that people tend to forget about sun protection when it comes to eyes? Like we put on the sunscreen, like do people forget about eyes?
I don't know, they forget or intentionally not wear the sunglasses. I know this is pretty bad, but my youngest daughter doesn't like to wear the sunglasses when she's trying to tan because she doesn't want a tan line. But I'm like, well, you can still protect your face with the sunglasses. And then that's what, again, it depends on how long you're out there for and what activities you're doing. But if you're not wearing sunglasses, especially when you're on the water surface, you're getting a lot of reflection off of the water surface. So your chances of UV damage is actually pretty high when you're by the water. So make sure you are wearing your sunglasses. And what a lot of people don't also notice that, yes, it is summertime, but even when it's cloudy, there are more UV when it's cloudy because again, it's reflecting off those clouds particles, the water particles in the clouds. So just make sure you are wearing your sunglasses when you're outdoors, regardless if it's sunny out or cloudy out, because those cloudy days, you actually get a better tan.
That's really fascinating. I didn't know that. That's really cool. And good to know about the sunglasses on a cloudy day. I wouldn't have thought that. That's interesting. Okay. What about like the price for sunglasses? Are there more affordable ones that would offer this protection? Do we have to go expensive? Where does that line up?
So you don't have to go expensive to protect your eyes from the UV. Again, you can get very inexpensive ones over the counters. The difference is when you get something custom made is you can put your prescription inside of that and the quality of the lens is better. So there is a difference in the quality of the lens, but the UV protection, again, it doesn't, there, it can be for every price point.
Gotcha.
Aura Biosciences is a clinical stage biotechnology company focused on developing precision therapies for solid tumors that aim to preserve organ function. Our lead candidate, Belsar, is currently in late stage development for primary choroidal melanoma and in early stage development in other ocular oncology indications and bladder cancer. Our mission is to grow as an innovative global oncology company that positively transforms the lives of patients. For more information, please visit us at aurabiosciences.com.
So if people don't wear sunglasses, what are the dangers we're looking at?
So there's quite a few, and I'm glad you asked this. First off, we're going to start externally, which is your lids. You can actually get cancer on your lids from the sun if you're not wearing your sunglasses. Then if we move a little bit closer onto the eyes, next is going to be the white part of your eyes called the conjunctiva. You can get a growth called a pinguecula. The pinguecula is just a raised growth on the white of your eyes that can lead to distorted stigmatism as well as dryness to your eyes. It can be red and inflamed when it's irritated. If it grows over to the color part of your eyes, that is now called a pterygium. That induces more astigmatism, more dryness to those eyes. Sometimes surgically you can remove it, but it does come back if you're not wearing your sunglasses regularly. Further back in your eyes is your lens. It starts to absorb that UV, causing a cataract that we typically get as we get older. It causes yellowing of your lens, so then things just look a little cloudy in general. Further back still, you can get maculopathy, which is the macula being damaged. And these are for those folks who are staring at the eclipse when it's going on without the proper sunglasses. So solar, again, sun damage at any point of this process is not reversible. Only with a cataract can you remove pterygium. You can remove most of the time pingueculas, they should kind of just leave it there. Skin cancer you can remove if you catch it early, but if your macula is damaged, you can't replace your macula. So that is permanent vision loss. So just be really, really careful. Wear your sunglasses. It's not worth it not to wear it, considering how inexpensive you can get a pair these days.
Yeah, no, that makes total sense. What about for kids? Are they more or less or the same as far as being susceptible to these things?
They're going to be the same amount of susceptibility. Again, it's a lot of time it's over time. So kids, you typically don't see a lot of this damage early on, unless it's the eclipse. But for the most part, everything else that I've mentioned is more as we get older because it's a cumulative of UV exposure over time.
You mentioned the eyelid. So sunblock, when we put sunblock on, we put it on our eyelids too. I think a lot of people miss that, right?
So yes and no. So depending on the
Okay.
type of sunscreen that you put on your lid, because cream travels an inch. So if you're gonna put sunscreen on your face, just leave about a C, like a C shape, about an inch away, because it's gonna travel there anyway. If you put it really, really close, that's why you start noticing that your eyes get red and it starts to tear up because it's starting to travel and it gets into your eye, which can be very irritating, especially if you're swimming and things like that. So just be really, really careful when you're applying it near your eye because it is a chemical going in. There are certain ones that are facial sunscreen, so use specific facial sunscreen, which is a little bit safer than using like, a body sunscreen around the eyes.
Oh, okay. My kids wish that I knew that when they were little and going to the pool. Our middle would always get it in his eye, always. The other two, not so much, but him every time.
I say, that's why, Mama.
Yes, and I put it all over. I didn't know to keep the C shape. So, oops. Well, we learn
Awesome.
something new every day. That's why we're here. What about like screen time in the summer with us being on our screen so much? What does that do?
Well, increased screen time can lead to increased dryness to your eyes, as well as increased myopia in children. So it is recommended that children have at least 2 hours of outdoor time to help minimize the growth of myopia changes. And again, for adults, if you're on your electronics for long periods of time without taking breaks, you are increasing death to your meibomian glands, which triggers, dry eye symptoms. And it's never fun to have dry eyes.
No. And we do have a lot of patients with dry eyes. So speaking of that, do you have any products that you love for dry eyes for patients?
Sure. Well, it depends on the type of what's causing your dryness. So I always like to address the root cause, which could be environment, it could be your eyelids. So depending on the reason, there are different recommendations. Let's say you have an overproduction of oil or you're not cleaning your lid and lashes well and you end up with blepharitis secondary to demodex. Now demodex are lash mites that naturally live on their lid and lashes to eat up the excess oil and debris, but when they overpopulate, they start to lay eggs on your eyelids. When their exoskeleton mixes in your tear film, it creates this like soapy discharge, so it feels like this soap is in your eye all the time and it burns. And we see inflammation on the lid margin, and that in those cases, it's good to use like a tea tree oil based eye cleanser. preferably preservative free so it doesn't sting or burn your eye as it goes in. That will help with that. Just keeping your lid and lashes clean in general. If it was secondary to, let's say, clogged meibomian glands, which we get as we get older as well, sometimes you see caps on the waterline above those meibomian glands. That's usually, if it gets infected, that's how people get a sty. But with that one, what you want to do, and again, because that is triggered more with like increased screen time, you can use a heated eye mask for 10 minutes a day, and that will help open up those glands. I call it a mini facial for your eyelids. So you put that heat mask on your lid and your eye, on your eyes with them closed, and then for 10 minutes, it'll help open up those glands, melts the whatever sebum that's inside that is clogged or, congealed. It helps soften all that, help make sure the glands are open so that when you blink, your lids, when it comes down, it will press on each other and express the oil that's supposed to lubricate your eyes. But if those glands are clogged, when you go in to blink, the oil is being trapped inside. So that can lead to dry eyes as well. So again, mostly just heated eye mask, depending on the type of dryness. You can use the lid cleanser. Something else that's also really good is just using artificial tears if you notice that once in a while it's just a little dry. But with artificial tears, again, I think it's more on a superficial layer. So that's just temporary. So again, try to address the main issue and then your eyes will feel better in general. Your body can also make better quality tears if you are on like omega-3, flaxseed, or fish oil. It'll help your body make better quality tears. Let's see. There's just so many different things. Again, it all depends on what you need it for, but sometimes if things that you're trying over the counter isn't working, you may need a prescription medication for your eyes, or even radio frequency, intense post-light therapy. There's just so many different treatments out there that we can provide in the office for patients if they have severe dryness.
Very cool. What do you think about like the blue light blocking glasses? Are those good to use? And how do you choose one?
All right, so here is my take on that.
Okay.
There is no scientific proof that blue light actually helps with glare or anything like that. However, patients symptomatically have mentioned that it does help with glare, but there's no scientific proof. What blue light does help is help regulate your sleep pattern. So for people who are on their electronics prior to going to bed, you notice as soon as you get off, you're kind of like super wired and you can't go to sleep. That's because the blue light is triggering your brain thinking it's daylight time. So what blue light filtering does is it turns that off so that you can go to sleep easier after getting off your electronics. And that's why people suggest to get off your electronics half an hour before you go to sleep to basically let your body kind of wind down.
Okay, so it's more about like going to sleep than actual like health of your eye.
Correct. So you would have to get like a lot of screen time to equate to what it would cause to damage your eyes from blue light. But again, that fad came out and then everybody's hopping on that train. Some people swear by it, but like I said, there's no scientific proof yet, but people swear by it if they do use it. But I think it could be also a placebo effect.
Sure. Okay.
So it doesn't hurt to have it on there, but like I said,
Yeah.
to each their own is what I say.
Right. But you don't need to rush out and get one.
Correct. If you're going to get one, maybe get a computer designated pair of glasses, because some of us, when we're on our screen, we need just a little bit of magnification to help our eyes focus better. So maybe having a designated personalized prescription in those glasses with the blue light would be better than just doing a plain old blue light. So
Yeah, that makes sense.
Castle Biosciences is a proud sponsor of this I Believe podcast. Castle's innovative uveal melanoma tests provide valuable information about the risk of your eye cancer spreading to help you and your healthcare team individualize the management of your disease. To learn more, visit castlebiosciences.com.
So let's switch gears a little bit and learn a little bit more about you. What inspired you to become an optometrist?
Well, believe it or not, I grew up as a Catholic and we went to church every single day. And a lot of time is during that time, we kind of zone out if we're doing it every single day. It becomes like a routine pattern that we kind of we are present, but we're not at the same time. But I remember it was during middle school that I was just kind of trying to figure out what I wanted to do as I grew up. And I prayed about it. And that day there was a sermon that talked about how God cured the blind. And I was like, oh my gosh, I want to do just that. I want to give people back their sight. Because for myself, I grew up in glasses, I grew up in contact lens. I knew the frustration of not being able to see and what it felt like to see for the first time. And I was like, I want to do that, but without the blood. So what can I do? So I was like, optometrist it is. And since entering high school, I already had my path paved out for me. And I just stuck on that path until I became an optometrist.
That's amazing. I love that. And so now that you're doing it, what do you love most about it?
I love that it grew into a profession that I did not anticipated when I went to school to become an optometrist. I didn't realize you didn't have to see patients, 5 to 6 days a week. You can have a life outside of it. You can do multiple different roles within optometry. So for myself personally, since COVID hit, I became brand ambassadors for different companies within the eye care industry, representing different eyewear brands, modeling for them, as well as being part of different organizations like Transitions Optical and promoting, healthy wellness. I am now also on social media, just educating the public about eye health, because if I have to repeat this like 10 times a day with my patients, I'm sure 10 other people somewhere also needs to hear the message. And so that's why I'm super passionate about just, you know, working with different companies, getting the information about what their products or services can do to help other optometrists, as well as helping society in a whole.
Absolutely. And your social media is fantastic. If you guys are listening, please go check out her Instagram. It's wonderful. What is your handle?
It's at Dr. Nguyen. That's KristienGuyen.
Everybody go follow Dr. Nguyen. It's awesome. So let's talk a little bit about the brand ambassador. What brands are you loving right now? What can you recommend? Do you have favorite products, or like what are the hot styles? Give us all the dirt.
Well, one of the brands I work with is called Barty, but it's an EHR software, so it's mostly for the doctors. Makes our life a lot simpler with every new features that they have out. Another company I'm working with is called Xenon. They do more of like um, shortcutting different things inside the office for the doctors as well. One of the eyewear brand that I work with is called Kazuku lunettes. They're Asian fit and universal fit bridges, so that way they'll fit pretty much every single bridge that's out there. Because that's the biggest thing for me as an Asian wearing glasses. Like they don't fit my bridge. They look great on the shelf. I put it on, and my lashes is right up against the back of that lens. So then I can't wear it. But they're big, bold, and beautiful. So if you check out my Instagram, you probably see some of the frames that I post. That's from that brand there. Let's see. I work with so many different brands as advisors or as brand ambassadors. So I can't list them all.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll link everything in the show notes. So go check out the show notes, and you can follow Dr. Nguyen and check out the products that she's loving. I love your style. You have amazing style. So I'm excited to go take a look at it and check out what we can buy for summer. I mean, we're getting into summer. I think everybody needs some new sunglasses, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And, if we can find some good UV, UVB, UVA, what are we talking about? A and B, right?
A and B, A and B.
A glasses that are affordable. Maybe we could get multiple colors, because then we can accessorize.
For sure, for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, this has been so much fun. Thank you for coming and giving us all of these sun safety tips. We're going into June. Like we said, it's Healthy Vision Month, and June 27th is Sunglasses Day. Let's talk about that for a minute. We are at Ocular Insight are doing a contest. So submit your selfies or photos, it can be group photo, individual, anything, wearing sunglasses. You can email them to me, Megan, Megan, at ocurinsight.org, or you can just tag Ocular Insight. Emailing them to me is probably a little bit safer though, because sometimes we don't always see what we're tagged in. We try really hard to look for them, but occasionally we don't actually see them. So email to me if you prefer, and then you can enter the contest. We're gonna have some prizes if you win. And we're going to have a few different categories. So stay tuned, follow our socials. All that information will be coming. But let's do a big push for Sunglasses Day. We want to really spread the awareness and push the importance of sunglasses.
Yes, prevention is better than fixing it later.
Absolutely. And we can be cute while we do it, right?
Absolutely.
Yes. Our tagline for this year is awareness looks good on everyone.
For sure.
Right. So check that out. And then follow all of our socials, please. We are on most all of the platforms. And a huge thank you to our sponsors. This podcast would not function without the sponsors. Check out their websites. They are doing amazing things, all with patients in mind. They're really here fighting for you and just really committed and dedicated, and we're so grateful for all of our sponsors. So check them out, and then go to our website, acurensight.org. There's a button at the top. You can sign up for our newsletter. Once a month we send out a newsletter with all of the relevant information that we think you guys are going to need. Occasionally we'll send out an email here and there if it's more timely, but we don't spam you, so don't hesitate to sign up, please. And then there's also some other great resources, our physician finder, our new patient packet. If you're new, sign up to get a new patient packet and just click around. You're going to find all kinds of great resources. If you have any questions, go ahead and shoot me an email, or you can message us on our socials. We would love to respond and help you navigate this situation. All right, guys, we'll see you next week.